Welcome to Breaking Ground. I'm your host, Devin Kolka. On this show, we meet with industry leaders in the design, construction, and real estate industries. Today's guest is Scott Burman, principal at Angle Burman. We're going to talk about the Bristol brand and the Long Beach Superblock. I'm really excited for the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're here with Scott Burman, principal of Angle Burman and president of construction. Thanks for joining us today.
And thanks for having me. This is a great studio. I'm pleased to be here. It's great.
We certainly love it. The story is it used to be a file cabinet room, as I just told you, and we just got rid of all that and in with the new.
It's a lot cooler than a file cabinet room.
Yes, thank you, thank you. So, I mean, you guys are doing a ton right now, and it's like, where do we begin? But I guess I'm going to start with the big one for me, and that's Long Beach.
Sure, yeah. Super exciting project for us. Probably the largest project we've ever worked on. So for those who aren't familiar, the Superblock is a 6-acre vacant piece of property in the city of Long Beach on the Atlantic Ocean. We are planning to start construction on a 2-story podium parking. Above that, we're going to do a huge amenity package with swimming pools and outdoor movie theaters and dog walk parks and dog washing stations and pickleball and you name it. Really cool amenities for the property. It'll have a retail component, so a restaurant and a grab and go, which will both have access to the boardwalk. And atop that, we're going to do 2 100-unit condo towers.
Wow.
And 1 238-unit rental building.
Wow.
So, we love Long Beach. We did a great project years ago in Long Beach called Aqua, which was a high-end condo project, which was very successful. For me, it's one of the coolest places on Long Island. You got the beach, you got a cool little downtown, great restaurants, and super exciting. So we plan to break ground in the next couple of months.
So I always said that Long Beach is the closest thing to San Diego. I'm a big San Diego guy.
Yeah.
But it's got an own sense of community. It's Long Island, but
Yeah.
they're a different breed out there, but they're great,
Yeah.
You had your project that you previously did there, but I'm sure there's a ton of market research that needs to go into taking, a project on of this size. What really geared you back to Long Beach?
Yeah. So certainly we do a ton of research, and both internally and externally, we hire third parties to do lots of analytics for us. We have our own internal marketing department, so we're pretty vertically integrated. We do all of our own development, all of our own construction, all of our own management, marketing, and sales. So there's really little that we kind of use third parties for in our day-to-day business operations, but we do hire a lot of companies to do those sorts of analytics. And then we do a lot of competitive studies, but we also have an inherent understanding of the market. We're all Long Island guys. We all grew up here, live here. The reality is, this is a project that's sorely needed. Rental housing in general is sorely needed on Long Island. Newer high-end rental projects, we've learned are very desirable on Long Island. It really started with all the stuff that happened in Mineola and kind of grew out from there. So we're bringing 1,000 rental units to market right now. They're leasing very, very quickly. And we believe there's a great market for condos too. These are going to be right in sort of the sweet spot as far as pricing. We are seeing a migration of city people who are moving out to the island. I think COVID's probably a catalyst for that.
Absolutely.
We're very confident it's going to be a successful project.
So it's my understanding it's been over a decade that this thing has been really trying to get through. Yeah. And you guys were able to get it to where it needs to be. Is that the team that you came to the table with? Is that somewhat right time, right place? Like, what do you amount that to?
It's both. It is to a certain extent right time, right place. The property's been sitting vacant for 40 years. A couple of very qualified developers took a stab at it. I think it didn't get off the ground primarily because of market conditions. A couple of guys hit some downturns. The last developer who took a try is a company called iStar, and they came in with a really, really aggressive proposal. Significant variances, height variances, unit count variances, and the community wasn't receptive. It was all rental, and they ended up in a significant lawsuit, which resulted in some zoning approvals. So we came in really with an as-of-right proposal. We only came in with half condo and half rental, so we're only going for a pilot program on half the project. And that was a big selling point for the community because, helps with the taxes and the community embraced that. As of right, it was certainly, it's never easy. I mean, you know how this works in Long Island. Everything's very subjective, even when it is as of right. But we were able to get through the process. I get all of our IDA approvals, which is a necessity to build a rental project on Long Island. You just can't make sense of the numbers without that. So that process went well. We're ready to pull permits now for the most part. We've got full construction documents. The city's been very, very working very well with us and sort of a very iterative back and forth process. So now we're just finishing up our financing and putting the whole package together, and again, should be in the ground in a matter of a month or two.
Nice. So did you guys do any outreach to the civics prior to and get their feel, or?
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said that. Obviously, that's a huge element in any development project. One of this size and scope, even more so, right? Because it's really on everyone's radar. So what we did was actually a series of meetings, 9 or 10 in total, where we would go to each. There's 6 or 8 individual civic groups within Long Beach. We met with each one of them, proposed what we were looking to do, took their feedback, had conversations, and it was pretty well received. We went to the Chamber of Commerce. We met with really kind of all the interested parties in Long Beach. For the most part, people were receptive. There's always a couple of naysayers in the bunch. That's par for the course, but it really was well received.
Now, let's say they weren't as receptive, is that terms for just walking away, this isn't the right thing, or?
It can be. We're firm believers in pushing the ball down the hill. We don't like to get into contentious situations with municipalities or civics. There's times where you fight the good fight when it's a good project with good merits. There's other times when you just can't survive. So it's kind of a tough one. But what we do really is we come in, kind of hat in hand, very open, very receptive, very willing to listen to feedback. And we try and partner with the communities. At the end of the day, we're investing, in this example, many hundreds of millions of dollars. We believe it's great for the community. It's great for the tax base. It brings in a whole host of new people who are going to spend money in the downtown. And it's an economic stimulus. It's a collaborative process with the community.
Now, you mentioned partnering with the community, but I want to get into the capital stack of a project that is this large. Do you bring in LPs? Are you going to institutional debt? How do you really put that together? And is it more intricate because it's a larger deal?
So definitely more intricate because it's a larger deal. It adds a whole new element to it. Commercial banks can only lend up to a certain amount to begin with. COVID, frankly, put a little bit of a wrinkle in it also because the market's turned a little bit. Certainly the lending markets have turned a little bit, and the first thing people get skittish on are condos. That's just, kind of the nature of the beast. When you're dealing with a project of this size, like you said, it's a real capital stack with a lot of different layers. We have really strong banking relationships, we're getting a lot of offers from commercial banks. We're working with some new lenders as well, primarily on the condo side. We're going to make it work. We have a great equity partner we've worked with for many years now. So we're not coming in for super high leverage. It's that kind of sweet 60-65% leverage point. And we have an equity partner who's, again, been with us for a long time, has underwritten the project alongside us, and is real comfortable. And that's kind of the stack.
You guys definitely do a great job of telling the story because you have successfully completed, how many projects at this point?
Our portfolio is valued over $3 billion, and we've developed, over 5,000 homes. So.
I'd give you my money.
Thank you.
No, I
I'll
mean,
take it.
you guys do it right. You really do.
I appreciate that.
The story is great. The brand is strong, and I'm gonna segue into the next part of the discussion I wanted to get to is that brand. And when you think of assisted living, you think of Bristol. It is the cream of the crop. It is, they're the ones that are doing it right. How do you guys create that brand?
So, it really started with an idea. My dad founded the company with a guy named Sid Angle, who's the Angle and Angle Burman. Sid's now in his late 90s. But they were competing for a property and came together, decided that they would develop it together. My dad, Jan, really had an idea to do a high-end private pay assisted living. Didn't really exist on Long Island at the time. Most of what we had was converted hotels and motels and what I would consider to be sort of B and C properties. And he scratched his head and said, hey, if my parents need this, when they need this, I don't really have a place that I feel comfortable putting them. And he knew he wasn't alone. He had a lot of friends and a community of people who liked and could afford nice things, and traveled the country looking for, high-end models to emulate. And built the first one, filled it in 4 months. So that was around 98, 99. I joined them a couple years later. We were building our second. That was sort of the concept from the beginning, was be, the best in the market. We can charge a comparable price, and people come to us first because of that. So, we grew organically for a bunch of years, here we are 25 years later. We've got about 30 properties across the New York, New Jersey market, Long Island, Westchester, North Jersey, and recently entered into Manhattan, which is super exciting too. Yeah.
Nice. So sticking on Bristol, COVID was probably a huge scare. People don't know what to do with their parents or grandparents that are in the facilities. You guys handled it tremendously. I'm assuming it's operations, it's communication, but what do you mount that to?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying it was a difficult time, right? I mean, we were front lines, and it's a very difficult thing to manage. We've got nearly 3,000 employees in total. People were getting sick, residents were getting sick, employees were getting sick. So it was a lot to handle. Deciding to put mom or dad in an assisted living facility is a difficult decision to begin with, right? Couple that with COVID and state mandates, regulations with shutdowns and sometimes lockdowns, it makes a difficult decision even more difficult, right? So we did a great job managing. Compared to what I've heard in the industry, we did a superb job. The properties all operate pretty seamlessly. But it's been a tough time as far as attracting new business. So we're at the end of the tunnel now. We've given out over 4,000 vaccines already.
Wow.
The majority of our residents are vaccinated. I think that's probably, what gets us out of this. But it's been difficult, even this nursing home stuff you're hearing about at the state level with Cuomo. It stigmatized the industry to a certain extent. So there have been real challenges, I guess is the best way I can say it. And they're mainly operational challenges. But again, I think we've done pretty well given the situation.
I agree. And you talk about your employees and all the frontline workers you have. There certainly are heroes, and they're putting it out there every day. How do you attract your talent? You're not going to manage your entire business by yourself. It really comes down to your people, and you've got great people. How do you get them?
So it frankly is one of the hardest parts of the business. And it's because we're not just trying to attract people. Like you said, we're trying to attract the right people. And what that really means is people who care, right? So we build beautiful buildings, but at the end of the day, we're taking care of people, right? People's parents. So it's really about the care. It's really about the socialization and the model. And it's really about attracting people who frankly really give a shit, right? The people who work at the Bristol are saints. I mean, they do a really good job of taking care of old people. I mean, to me, that's God's work, right? So we've developed sort of this culture of caring, right? And that kind of translates into all parts of our business. But we've also become like a family. I mean, we have an annual dinner for people who've been with us for, more than 5 years. And at this point, we've got hundreds of people who've been with us for 20 plus years. We have this dinner that grew from, a bunch of guys in a back room in a steakhouse to we barely fit at the largest catering hall in Long Island now. So, we've got this team of people who are like a family and really identify with the work, identify with the team, and align with our vision, which is about caring.
You certainly do care. New York has been tougher and tougher these days with laws and just rent stabilization and just a lot of policies that are making it hard for the landlord, for the developer. But you continue to invest in New York. So first I want to ask you, why?
We believe in New York. It's our home. We've got a lot invested here. But like you said, it's getting harder and harder. We are been looking at other markets for many years. We've hired companies to literally scour the country and figure out zip codes with similar demographics where they think we could thrive because, a couple things happened to us here. The first is what you referenced. It's getting less and less business friendly. The second is, to a certain extent, we've saturated our market in a lot of sectors, right? Again, we've got 30 senior living properties across Long Island, Westchester and North Jersey. It's just a small area. So there's pockets here and there. We're going to start a couple in the next year, assisted living that is. And we see potential to do more here, but we're really focused right now also on Southeast Florida.
Okay.
We all have second homes down there. It's the perfect market for us because it's a very similar demographic. You referenced the brand earlier. The brand name translates to down there. It's a lot of the same people from New York and New Jersey.
Yeah.
They were moving down there before COVID, even more so now. So it's a natural fit. We've got a big project that's in contract in Boca Raton. So that'll be the first one. And 4 or 5 more that we're getting ready to go to contract on. So that'll be the next market. We'll set up a satellite office there for management, and it'll report up to here to our corporate headquarters, and we'll see where we go from there. But that's the next hurrah for us.
I love South Florida. I've got family down there, stepmom, sister, and there's a lot happening down there for sure. You keeping it open to any other markets?
Yeah, we've done a ton of traveling around, looking around, both in the Northeast and the South. So nothing that we've clearly identified yet, but yeah, I mean the plans to keep growing. We're a multi-generational business, and we've got younger guys who are aggressive, and we have no interest in slowing down. So yeah, there'll be more to come.
So what keeps you motivated? I mean, you guys, you've built a ton, you have a lot. It's not money. It can't be money anymore. What keeps you motivated?
It's a passion, right? I mean, I feel lucky to really genuinely enjoy what I do. Real estate development's fun, right? You get to create a vision, and you get to see it to fruition, right? And we do a lot of cool projects. We do the senior living. We also recently got involved in a drug addiction research and rehabilitation project out in the East End of Long Island, partnered with Northwell. Really revolutionary, kind of first of its kind project. And these are all things that are doing good in the world, right? Helping people. So it's satisfying, I guess is the best way to describe it. You know, I sleep real well at night knowing that we're doing good things while we are successful.
That project out in Calverton's amazing. It's near and dear to me, and it's incredible what you're doing, for real.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I guess last question I'm gonna get into, and this is the tougher one.
Uh-oh.
You got a lot of alpha males in your office. I'm sure it's not all peaches all the time.
No.
How do you guys deal with that?
So, I mean, look, we all get along, and we're a family, you know, it's a family business, a couple of families, but you know, consortium of families, if you will. No, it's never all peaches, you know. Business is difficult. You've got times that are challenging. Families are difficult. You have times that are challenging. I think the best way I can describe it is we've kind of all found our own little niche. You know, we've figured out over time how to divide and conquer. We all have a lot of mutual respect for each other at this point. You know, like you said, a lot of alphas. We do have our differences at times, but we figured out how to navigate situations together and work together, no matter what gets thrown at us. So, you know, I think the mutual respect part is the most important part of the whole thing.
And you have, you know, beautiful family, wife, kids. You know, I imagine there's a work-life balance.
There is, yeah. I mean, it's not always easy, it's not always easy to turn it off when I get home too. I mean, I'm sure you see that also. You know, there's a lot to think about always, and we're always working, even if we're home. But yeah, I've got a beautiful wife, 3 beautiful kids. I try to spend as much time as I can with them. I've got interest out of the office too. I've been a triathlete for the better part of 20 years, and you know, that takes up a lot of my time. Involved in a lot of boards and a lot of things that are, you know, not really work related. So I'm pulled in a lot of different directions. But you know, I guess you do the best you can to find a balance, and you know, do the best you can, right?
You are a great person. Company is just, it's continuing to take off. You guys are leaders. I love to see what you guys are doing and hear what projects you're doing. Keep it up, man. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. That's really nice of you to say and nice to hear. And appreciate you having me. This is awesome.
Thanks for coming, man.
I'm amazed. Beautiful studio. Got some great guests. So good luck with this as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.